Hi, I'm Peter Shea from FreeGeek Twin Cities. Today I'd like to show you how we use the hardware detection tool from the HDT project to evaluate and document all the computers that are donated to us here at FreeGeek Twin Cities. We'll use this laptop as an example. We'll start by booting it up. We have a Pixie server on our network, and we set all computers to boot from the network either via a setting in their BIOS or via an iPixie CD that we put into the optical drive of the computer that we're evaluating. In this case, this laptop has had its BIOS set to boot from the network, and that boots up this nice menu you see here where we have a lot of choices of different activities we can fire up and boot on the computers. In this case, we're going to go up to the laptop menu. This menu, by the way, is a product of the SysLinux project and is really nice. Check it out. Go up to the laptop menu, and the first thing we want to do is verify the laptop processor meets our minimum threshold. The reason we do this is that we have a lot of volunteers who may not be very familiar with computers, and this allows us to assess them without necessarily printing and wasting paper if it turns out to be a computer we're not interested in keeping. So the first choice is this loads HDT in a menu version, and we go down and choose processor from the menu and verify that this does meet the minimum speed in terms of the processor that we want. In this case, this laptop, we do want to keep this one. So we hit escape, then to back out of that, takes us to the boot prompt, and we push enter, and we're back into the menu system. We go up to the laptop menu again, and this time we go down to print the hardware spec sheet, and this is the part we really wanted to show off. Choosing this one causes HDT to be loaded, but in a form that it simply dumps all its data back onto the Pixie server, where we have a cron job that goes and looks at that data, pulls out the interesting bits and sticks them into an open document format made with OpenOffice, and then that document is printed, and that becomes the spec sheet that lives with this laptop, this particular computer. So I'll go ahead and print that, choose that. Now HDT has an option that it can show, after HDT is run, it can show a graphic file. In this case, the graphic file that says spec sheet sent to printer. And that's set to run for 10 seconds, I believe, and then after that it shows another graphic image called rebooting. And so this tells the person doing the evaluation what exactly is going on. And meanwhile, that data is being stuffed into an open document file, and then that document file is being sent to the printer. And meanwhile, after HDT runs and displays those graphic images saying what's going on, then it reboots and takes us back to the menu. Meanwhile, that document is being sent to the printer, and we'll go ahead and we've already printed the spec sheet in this case. And this is the way it comes out, looking very nicely formatted. You can see we've got our logo over here, and here's the important part where we have the specs on the computer itself. So it's made by Toshiba. This tells us about the processor, the speed of the processor, 1 gigahertz in this case. It tells us how much memory is in it, 768 megabytes of RAM. It shows the hard drive size, 40 gig, shows how much RAM is set aside for video. It also shows the networking, wired and wireless, and this can be important when the machine is passed off into the build area, because they sometimes have to hunt around a bit to find drivers for the laptops to make the wireless work properly. And then further on the sheet we have some other steps that make up a checklist of things that have to be tested on the laptop before we pass it along to the build area. So that's how we use HDT. We'd like to thank Erwin and all the guys at the HDT project, not to mention Peter Anvin at SysLinux for making all the Pixie stuff available to us. And without all that stuff, we would not really be able to consistently and reliably evaluate and document the computers we have donated here. Thanks for watching.